Well, it's danger. It's deadly. I mean, literally, it's deadly. You're subjecting yourself to death.
Well, it's the same thing with DU. For folks that don't get this, in 1991 and 96, the Army's own reports, official policy said, you breathe any of this, it's going to kill you. It may take a decade, it's going to do it. And then now they just tell the troops, no safety required, just enjoy the DU. I mean, something's changed, Lindsey. It's more than just greed. It's a spirit of pure evil. Everybody can feel it. I can't even go to Los Angeles now because I feel the evil so strong. And I've never said that on air, but I was talking to Jaron. He's the same way. Got a lot of friends there. The other night we went out and had dinner. I mean, I literally, L.A. is so evil now, I cannot enter the city, Lindsey. I feel it when I'm there, the oppression. And now I'm starting to feel it in other areas. Do you know what I'm talking about in your spirit?
Yes, the cancer rate, by the way, because of these new body scanners at the airport, the cancer rate 6 months, a year from now is going to go up so high, you can't even comprehend what's happening. I will not fly a commercial airline except in a dire emergency anymore. No way am I going to subject myself to that. And then to go through the embarrassment of a pat-down, come on, give me a break. This is contrary to the Constitution of the United States of America. Okay, very quickly. I know we're running out of time here, Alex, but let me give you a few statements that was made.
Yes, and then I know you're working on an audio or a video. You haven't mentioned that yet, so I want to make sure you do that. But, yeah, data dumping, quick statements. What else can you now say that Mr. Frum, who's now died, told you versus the other Mr. X, who's still alive, the former CEO of a major big three?
Okay, I'll give you these in one-liners because I don't have time to explain any of them. He said, America, this is the elite's most difficult challenge. Now, folks, that means that if they think this is their biggest challenge, and this was said to me, it's their biggest challenge, that means we can turn this thing around. If you want to rebel enough, we can see it turn around. Another expression.
Oh, hold on. We may have to go into overdrive, Lindsey, but I've got all these meetings I've got to have after the show. That is such good news. I mean, this is going for broke. They're in danger because they're exposing themselves and uncloaking to try to get away with this. That's why they're trying to parade in the open with fake confidence. So the globalists don't think they're invincible. That's key information. Finish the devil messiah system. I mean, what is the devil messiah? Just a total spiritual takeover?
The devil's messiah is their method. And the latest one that was given to me was the European Union and the fact of the 10 toes. And they embarrassed so many ministers, I mean big names across America, who said this was the fulfillment of the book of Daniel and Revelation. And all in the world they were doing was an intentional program of embarrassment of the ministers of America. Another expression that we used to him recently, he said the elite plan to own everything in America. Well, you can readily understand how this can be if we bail out the mortgage-backed security problem and the elite take over every piece of mortgage real estate in America, whether it's commercial or residential, and you'll be making your payment to the Federal Reserve. You'll see this happen shortly. Again, I can't stress enough to you folks, I plead with you, get every piece of gold and silver you can get your hands on. You haven't seen anything yet. If you think gold at $1,400 an ounce is high, what are you going to say when it's $3,000 an ounce?
All right, Lindsey, continue. What are the other bullet points people need to know?
Okay, gasoline. We're already $3 a gallon in Phoenix, Arizona. You're going to go to $4 a gallon as quick as they can get it there. Again, Russia and China. This is America's greatest threat. Before Mr. Fromm died, he went into details on this with me, and I plan to make an entire presentation just of this sometimes in the future. He said China is the big ones. Again, an elitist who knows how to be cured of cancer. Mr. Fromm wouldn't go that route because he had a son who was a medical doctor, and he convinced him to take the... Okay,
so that's another issue. What else was there that you couldn't tell folks that you can now tell them?
Okay, this basically are the points, but the buzzwords are what are so important because they tell you everything of what the elite are going to do. And because of that, I have listed 12 things that you positively must do immediately in order to spare yourself in light of what these people have told me. You've got to watch insider trading. Oh, my goodness, people, have you seen what's been happening there in the last few days of how insider trading has gone up so much? The elite, the CEOs, the corporate heads, they know what's coming. And as a result, insider trading has just gone to unbelievable heights. The very latest one that was recorded here was November the 15th through the 19th. Insider trading went to 8,280 to 1. Do you realize the CEOs and the corporate heads are bailing out because they know what Mr. Fromm told me back a year or two ago, and they're just beginning to see it, and they're cashing out for everything they're worth? But yet your broker will still try to get you into the New York stock market. It's wild. That's right.
And
right now.
Lindsey, again, this is important. Because, think there's so many points, we're moving fast here. What else, because you said there was a lot of stuff, what else did Ken Fromm tell you that you couldn't talk about until he was dead and buried?
Okay, I'll give you a few pointers, and each one of these I could at least take an hour on. The Arab world, he went into depth into the Muslims, jihad, and the United Arab Emirates in Saudi Arabia. Again, he has gone into depth with me in lengthy conversations.
What is he saying briefly is going to happen there? And we'll have you back soon, but what did he say briefly is going to happen there?
In where now?
In the Arab world. What was the big key thing there?
Well, of course, they brought the price of crude oil down, and he told me why they did that. And it was in order to put some of these countries into a certain position where they wanted them. And now, of course, they've lowered the value of the dollar to the point that even though they may get $100 to $150 a barrel for their oil, they're still getting in purchasing power as far as the American dollar, which they're locked into, and they can't get out of it. Russia and China can get out of use of the American dollar, but Saudi Arabia all those countries over there, they can't get out of this because they were locked into it, according to Henry Kissinger back many years ago in the agreement that he made with them. So as a result, even though they may get $150 a barrel for their oil, they'll still only be getting about $50 in purchasing power of the American dollar. I mean, this is so startling to understand the inside workings of all of this as to how they're doing it.
Amazing. Any other bullet points?
Well, yes, he's gone into Iran, Iraq, and Afghanistan. He made it very plain that while we're in Afghanistan and the agreement that was made by Henry Kissinger with back in years ago in Iran and Iraq wouldn't go along with it. And as a result, it was intentionally done that we went in there, did what we did to Iraq. We just haven't been able to do it to Iran yet. Let's see. He's gone into depth about the world order and George Herbert Bush, Daddy Bush. Again, he's gone into depth about the devil's Messiah. Again, he went into some depth with me about America and the elitists and their most difficult challenge, which is the United States of America. Surprising how much trouble they've had with America and with our presidents. And, of course, I know that... Well, anyway, I won't go into this present president because that's a subject within itself. Gull Island, the Arctic Wildlife Refuge, the Bakken Reserve, and how that we would not have to take one drop of oil from any foreign country if we would just use what's on our own soil. And, of course, he was the one that gave me the information in my book, Energy Non-Crisis.
Lindsey, I want to stop you there and come back. Lindsey, I want to and stop you there and come back in the final segment and get into more of what the other Mr. X has told you. But briefly here, I know we contacted you and you're just now getting done with it, but you're always putting out an audio CD or a video through the Prophecy Club, great folks that you work with. Do you have this latest info in a book or video or on a CD?
I recorded the words of the elite. Folks, are you hearing me? I recorded the words of the elite and their spokespeople, and we have put it into 2.5 hours of presentation. Everything that they have told me to listen to, and they've explained their buzzwords, and I give you every bit of it. You will never hear this anywhere. They're actual recordings of their voices and them telling me what they're doing and what they're going to do.
But to be clear, your insiders told you where stuff was hidden in plain view, and so you've put it into a presentation where everything they told you about was actually said in what, mainstream media?
It was said by them. It was said in mainstream media. You will hear explanations of this.
So you were able to go out and find where they'd said some of this stuff publicly. Okay, and what's the website for that? Lindsey?
You go to prophecyclub.com if you wish. prophecyclub.com.
All right, well, tell us the name of it when we come back and the phone number. Then I want to race through kind of an overview and anything else we haven't covered dealing with this EU collapse. Final segment with our guests. We've got some other very informative guests coming up on Thursday and jam-packed on Friday. Governor Ventura, for his last radio interview of the year, he will be leaving then to Mexico, but he really wants to talk about WikiLeaks, the police state, the special episode of the Pentagon strike, the 9/11 investigation, the final episode of the season. Just such a great guy, and I'm honored to be really good friends with Governor Ventura and to have really gotten to know him well. He's a great guy. I disagree with some of his political views, but more and more he's really getting more hardcore and more informed. And it's going to be amazing having him on with some of the things he's going to be talking about. And we've also got a former Dallas Cowboy we've interviewed before, who's a 9/11 truther, who's going to be making a big announcement here on the show Friday. We've got a bunch of really informative things happening. Lindsey, briefly, what is the name of the new video that you've put together that has all this in it that's available at prophecyclub.com?
You want to get the confession of an elite. Now, Alex, I recorded this just in time for your show today. No one has ever had this before. I wanted to wait until after Mr. Fromm's funeral. And the family, out of respect for them, I did not want to release this until then. You actually hear the voice of the elite. I've never done this before, ever. And then you'll hear my narration of everything they're saying. You will know everything is going to happen for the next 6 months. And through the year 2012, Confession of the Elite, please give a call to our toll-free number. It's 888-799-6111. Or go on the web if you don't want to talk to a person. Go to prophecyclub.com, prophecyclub.com, 888-799-6111. Confession of an Elite. You have never, I was amazed. When I put this together, I couldn't believe what I was hearing myself, because they told me things, and then they told me where to go to get
Well,
things.
Lindsey, we're almost out of time, but we're blessed to have you and the intel you've gotten over the years. We've only got about a minute left here. And I want to remind folks, we're trying to make the #1 search term today, martial law UK, where they're now saying, oh, we're looking at banning protest, period. I mean, and then, oh, arresting people and death penalty who leak information. Did your sources talk about any type of internet 9/11 or event to try to curtail free speech? I mean, I remember 2 years ago you said the media would be the last thing to go. They would crash the economy and then shut the media down. Did they say anything else about that?